Well, good morning, or well, in some parts of the world, good evening. From Big Sky Hobby Corner, Smoking Okie. Promised I'd make a video to kind of get everybody caught up into where I've been, what's been going on, and just why the hell hadn't I been around. Well, it's a long story, spanning over a couple years. Um, so we've known I've always had some issues with my legs with venous stasis, and it had gotten to the point to where I cannot do machine work anymore. I can't be a machinist anymore. I can't stand behind a machine for long hours, which is part of the job. So, um, one thing I had to leave my job locally in search of making some better money, and which I did. Went to work for a while making rocket engines, and this is where the problem surfaced because we were spending anywhere between 14 and 18 hours a day working 6 days a week, staying in one spot. And that's when the ulcers came back, and I had to stop doing that. I took a break there for about 6 months, just working on my own thing here. Um, that way, I could determine my own hours. I could stop and take a leg break, and that actually worked. So I had to do something, and I got into selling guns for a local retailer, and that was okay. But retail just isn't my thing. You grow up in a machine shop doing the things I've done. You're kind of rough with people sometimes. If they bow up to you, you tend to bow back. It wasn't okay. I didn't care for it none. So recently, I'm just going to start making some gun stocks. Bottom line, there's a demand for those, and it's something that I can do. I can walk around and do everything. However, let's rewind to oh a year and a half ago or so. The ulcers in my legs. Some of you have seen pictures, but both the ulcers in both of my legs grew to about that big. I want to say it's about the size of a letter envelope. I was doing self care at the time. I knew a few things. I thought that I could just live with it and do what I could to keep them from getting infected and go on about life as long as I could. Well, come to find out, I'm not a doctor. Go figure. Um, in February, they got infected really bad. My body was showing signs of shutting down, but I was being hard headed, would not go to the doctor. It's funny how your mind can make excuses. I had these little bumps come up on my arms, and I thought, it's just this new cleaner at work, and I'm having an allergic reaction to it. Feeling kind of puny. Okay, well, I'm just feeling sick because I work with the general public, and they probably brought something in, a little cold. I'll be fine. Um, my eyes were bloodshot, and I was thinking, well, I got these chickens. It's probably pink eye. I'll get some medicine for that. We'll be fine. No, that was my body shutting down, my eyes being bloodshot. My vision is not what it was. I actually had these little white streaks going through the brown part of my eye. Um, that was actually infection. The bumps on my arms was actually vasculitis. That is the blood veins in my body actually trying to kick the poison out. What I had was sepsis. I went septic, and typically within the first 72 hours of being septic, you can die. And my body was shutting down. I ignored it, and it was my weekend. I came home, had to close the store that night. I came home, did my typical, take a shower, address my ulcers, and went to bed. And I don't remember anything until the next day. We were actually at the hospital. The doctor ripping the bandages that I had put on my ulcers off, and this little short Asian lady, about 3'5", trying to find veins in my hands and in my feet. It was terrible. Um, and I was in a lot of pain, and the nurse, they tried a gamut of a couple things. And finally she goes, do you like roller coasters? I was like, yep. She goes, well, you're about to go for a ride. I was like, okay. And she gave me this shot, and hey, I felt better. I was ready to go back home. Dr. Nutt, bless his heart, really kind doctor. He said, nope, you're going to stay with us a few days. You have sepsis. You are about to die. Oh, well, since you put it that way, what's for dinner? I never lost my sense of humor. One thing that is crazy is my wife tells me I was awake for the whole thing. She remembers getting me together, getting me to the car, getting me to the hospital. I even smoked my last cigarette. That's a good thing. I'm now cigarette free. I've been cigarette free since February 10th. Anyway, I spent a couple weeks on the hospital on some really high power antibiotics, and I'm still going to wound care because we're trying to figure out how to manage these ulcers. I've had 4 different operations on my legs to try to get these to go away. It's been an interesting couple of years. So, I mean, you can't make fun of my footwear here, but I'll show you. This is where I'm at right now. So that is actually Velcro compression. I wore shorts in those Crocs to just so I can show you guys. Oops. My little tripod I have isn't worth a hill of beans sometimes. Like that. Nope, we're not doing outtakes either, so you're going to get to see all that. So, get you situated here. There. And my pill bottles. We'll balance that out. We're crooked now, but that's okay. We'll live. Just recently, I'm going to say within the last couple weeks, I've actually felt like getting up and getting out of we're getting up out of my chair and doing things and extracurricular activities. As far as I go to work, I come home, I would not do shit. Well, our friend at Legend Hobbies, we work pretty close to him on doing a lot of machine work for his projects, and he sent me a message. He goes, hey, I got a project I need you to do if you're interested in. And just so happens I was at wound care when he was messaging me. I was waiting. So yeah, I was bored. I visited with him about it. We discussed a price, and I ordered material, got it done for him, and actually I shipped it off yesterday. We're done. While I was out here, you know, you can kind of see the machine tool back there. It looked like I left the chuck in the chuck wrench in the chuck. That's a big no-no. While I was out here, I realized I missed being out here. Now, granted, this place was a train wreck up until 2 days ago. My son and his buddies were hanging out here. They're making canjos, and, you know, like any 15, 16-year-old boy, they're not going to pick up after themselves. So, I mean, I had a mouse problem because of the food that was left in here. I think I about got that wrapped up. They left my stuff alone, but there was just a huge mess. And, of course, he's not home, so I deep cleaned the studio here, the studio, build room, whack shack, whatever you want to call it. I still got a lot to do as far as cleanliness, but, you know, as I'm doing this, I see the Valiant project I started here a couple years ago, stripped it down, burn all the oil out of the wood. As you know, that was the test bed for Smokin' Okie when I was coming up for something that actually worked. And I was going to redo it in fabric, dope, and kind of go back with the same scheme, just a little bit different coloring, I think. I actually kind of like the colors. I just got to find the mica powder. I may actually buy the red butyrate. I don't know. I hadn't decided yet. I hadn't got that far. It's still in its bones. I still got covering on one wing I need to strip. So, before my life went to shit, I just walked away from it. You know, that poor bird needs to be flying. And I said, you know what? It would be kind of neat. I'm waiting on one more project from Legend Hobby. I'm waiting on a total number of injectors. I'm going to get those done for him, and then we'll step into this. It's starting to get cold here in Montana. We're waking up to our 30-degree mornings. It's that time of year to where you run the heater in the morning and the air conditioner in the evening, because it's that time of year. Season's trying to change. So what I'm going to do, if you guys want me to, if you don't want to hear it, you don't want to see it, you're tired of my videos, that's fine. Just say, hey, no, I don't care to see it. We won't cover it. But I'm going to get back to work on the Valiant. We're going to bring her back to life, and we're going to fly her right out here at Big Sky Hobby Corner. I have not flown at all this year, and I'm going to get into why. That was kind of a segue that almost worked out, but not quite. With sepsis, there are some things that happen to your brain mentally, because it is a blood poison. You will have memory issues, brain fog, and it's just a part of it. There's nothing I can do to fix it. It just takes time. I've had to relearn how to do a lot of things. You know, when you're in a hospital, you don't really think about it after I got out of the, what did they call it? Memory issues. But basically, they had to watch me like a hawk for the first 32 hours I was in there. 36 hours. First 3 days, or they had to watch me for a while. They came in there every half hour, poking me, asking me what day it was, what my name was. It was really pissing me off because all I wanted to do was sleep. And they'd turn the light on. The light hurt my eyes. I mean, it physically hurt. I wanted to be in a dark room, but you get better. Okay, you start feeling better. This antibiotics start working. The infection starts going down. Your white blood cell count starts to drop, and they were drawing blood every day. And that was one thing that was pissing me off. Bless that girl's heart. I cringed every time I seen her, and I told her, I said, it's nothing personal, but I'm really getting sick of this shit. And she kind of laughed. She goes, I know, but the doctor's ordering it. And I said, I understand. Poke away. You think you're okay because you can get up, you can walk around. They stopped all the IV stuff. They actually had me on a pill antibiotic and certain medications throughout the day, and there's certain medications I still take. But you think of your day-to-day functions. I know what my name is. I know when to go to the bathroom if I need to. If I want to take a walk, I can get up. I can go walk. It was actually good on the ulcers because that kept things circulating. You don't think about it until you get out of the hospital. I had a moment. My son came in to see me. I knew he was my son. I remember my wife giving birth to him. I remember holding him in the hospital, but I couldn't remember his name. It was a very short-lived brain fart, but hey, buddy, that's what it was. That scared the shit out of me. I come home. I had a few days to kind of reorient myself, go back to work, and, you know, I was struggling. So that brings in depression. That brings in a lot of bad things. But I've worked through that over the months, and we are back. I'm not 100% yet. You're still going to see me brain fart from time to time. It's going to happen. I told my wife the date I was going to go back to work. And last night I'm sitting there, I was like, oh, I need to get this, and this ready. Well, I'm not going to go back to work until the 14th. Today is the 6th, actually. And holy smokes, I mean, I felt dumb. You know, I mean, it's still little things like that I still struggle with. But the reason I tried to, but I got scared every time. You know, I'd forget something. 3 strikes, you're done flying. Okay, I'd forget 3 things, we're not going to fly. Forget 3 things, we're not going to fly. Not going to fly. One time I forgot to mow the runway. Kind of need that. So it's been an interesting year, but we're getting better. One of the things I did for therapy was I had this old Voodoo from the 50s, an actual kit, not a remake, the actual Voodoo kit. I started building that. Why not pick one of the hard kits to do? And it's not actually that hard if you know what you're looking at, because there's actually no plan you build on top of. It's an information sheet that kind of looks like what you got to do, and you take all the parts that are die crunched and poke them out, you sand them, and do that. But I'm going to make it an RC version. I actually have an old Redhead McCoy 35 I'm going to put on it. This is really some neat stuff that I'm going to do. And we're coming back around. And as I was cleaning shop, circle back around, Land the airplane. I'm cleaning around the Valiant. There she is, looking sad. You can see where I started covering the tail feathers. I actually have the rudder and the elevator halves covered and doped, pre-doped, so they're good to go. I won't have to redo them. But since those set for a couple years with nothing on them, I'm going to peel them. We're going to clean the wood and do it again as soon as I remember what I did with my coverall. So if you guys want to be a part of that, by all means, comment, yeah, hell yeah, or no, we're kind of tired of your shit. Don't be afraid. Not going to hurt my feelings. I just need to know if I'm going to be wasting my time or not. Anyway, it's good to see you guys again. Touch the like, Figgy. Leave a comment down in the doobly-doo, and we'll rebuild and go back to business as usual from here. Okay? Appreciate you guys tuning in.